I wish I had a little video of people dancing to music as our opening slide, as people are coming in and starting to join us, because I'm dancing in my seat here. I'm excited to be with you guys all again after the holiday. Welcome, welcome. Just gonna maybe another 30 seconds as people start coming in. Wonderful. How is everyone? Give me a thumbs up if you're good. Happy New Year. It's January 2026. I know in South Africa, many of you take longer holiday than we do. We're back to work day after the first, and so I know many of you are just getting back into the swing of things. We want to welcome you this evening there in South Africa time, morning over here for us in Utah. Welcome, welcome. Joining me on this call from our corporate office is Ryan Goldsmith. He's one of our account managers and project managers. He's kind of the do-it-all kind of guy. He knows everything, and when I don't know it, I go to him. And then we have Nala Tosa. She is our regional sales manager there in the South Africa office. And then Ketabatle Gwibu. She's one of our account managers and just the smiling one that always brings good energy into the room. And joining us also in the background is Addison Schertz. He's our general manager over the Africa market. So welcome this evening. We're excited to get started. Today, our lineup will be, Katha Bothway will be doing our recognition. Then we'll turn the time over to Ryan Goldsmith, who will talk about our incentive trip and Diamond Club and all of our exciting programs that will be happening this year. And then we will hear from Nala. She will talk to us a little bit about an upcoming event that's very excited. We're all excited about it, and I know many of you are as well. And then she'll turn the time back over to me. So, Bathlet, let's go ahead.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Kendall. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our January business call. I am very super excited to really start the year with recognition. Imagine if we started the year without anyone ranking, advancing, or reaching their goals. I think this is such a positive start of the year. So please help me congratulate the following leaders that were top enrollers for the month of December. I think this is such a great positive impact that they're showing us, that even in the festive season, we still got work to do. So congratulations to our top enrollers. On top of our list, we have Tina Osuchugu, Marty Kruger, Yana Matthewson, Tiffany Morel, Life Please. So I just wrote there and said, still confirming. Basically, I think this is her business account, and she has named her account in her business. But if you know who Life Please is, please give her a huge shout out. And we are super, super happy and celebrating you guys for being on top enrollers. Keep up the good work, and we're very much proud of you. Let's give them a round of applause wherever we are. I can see people clapping. I love that a lot. Moving onto our next recognition would be our elite. I am super excited for this leader, Tracy Simpson. I am so proud of her. We just want to say congratulations to Tracy. I have a privilege to know her personally. For her to reach this milestone, it's such a beautiful thing to witness. And when she came to the office, she says, I'm finally elite. And I just want to say a huge congratulations to you, Tracy. Can't wait to see you at leadership. And well done to everyone that did their best to reach their goal, even on the last day of the month. But you guys did awesome. Moving on, today on our leader highlights, I am super excited to introduce this lady. I just feel like Tiffany it's one of those leaders that her work speaks for her. I've never met Tiffany, but I've always seen her name. Rank advancement, Tiffany. Leader highlights, Tiffany. top enrollers. Tiffany is there, and today I think it'll be a privilege for us to meet this wonderful, amazing lady. She's a mom of two. And she's located in Bulawayo, Zimbabwe. She has businesses that she owns under her name besides dōTERRA. And I think one thing about this lady, she's able to juggle both worlds at the same time, grow her business in dōTERRA. Her name is Tiffany Morel, and she is a elite leader. So I'm very excited to introduce her today, just so she can share with us, what are some of the things that she has done to impact the people in Bulawayo and as a great leader. And I think one thing that is very amazing about her is that she joined dōTERRA in September last year, 2025. And wow, what a great achievement. So I am super excited and I cannot wait to meet you at Leadership Retreat. So I am going to hand over the time to Tiffany.
Hi, good evening, all. This is quite something for me, I must say. I wasn't expecting to be asked to talk so early in my dōTERRA career. Um, as you've introduced, I joined in September last year, and I have a very amazing team here in Zimbabwe, which is great. I'm originally from Harare myself, but my husband and I have settled now in Bulawayo after being in Qatar in the Middle East for 6 years. So I am a mom, full-time mom. That's my first job. I have a 5-year-old daughter, Tatum, and a 3-year-old son, Logan. So they keep me very busy, just starting grade one and getting back into the swing of things with school and routines. But I also have two little businesses that I do, all linked. Well, the first one is linked to health and wellness, and sort of spreading that it's a lifestyle is my motto. And for the longevity, the things that you should do in order to sort of have an overall healthy life. And dōTERRA just fitted so perfectly into that. And when I came across dōTERRA and the essential oils, I was actually amazed that it's taken me so long to find them because it really just resonated with me straight away. And as you can see, I've fallen in love with the oils and I just share them and sharing my experiences. And I have Simone, who's my team lead, and she is absolutely incredible with helping and guiding us all here in Zimbabwe and just helping us with getting sort of meetups and educational talks and everything ready for people here so that we can spread the word of dōTERRA and share the oils with everybody. And my biggest thing that I've noticed in this short time that I've been here is my personal experience and just sharing it on a daily basis. If someone has something, you just bring up, oh, have you tried essential oils? This has worked for me. And often it sort of spreads that way. And it's incredible how many people actually need it in their life but don't know about it. And so many people are searching for natural ways to heal, natural ways to stay healthy. I'm in obviously the stage of young kids. So a lot of my connections are young mums who are feeling the overwhelm and kids bringing home all sorts of diseases from the schools. So it's so nice just to have a built-up immune system with natural products instead of putting chemicals into our bodies that we don't actually even know what they're doing. So I'm very blessed to be on this journey. I am actually able to come to leadership. So I will see some of you in 2 weeks, which is such a blessing and very exciting to be on this journey. And the next step, I'm hoping to get to Premier. So let's see. I'll hopefully be there soon.
Awesome. Thank you. I'm going to take the time from at this point because it's my turn to talk about the incentive trip. We are on the last 11 days of the incentive trip qualifications. So now's the time to log in and check where your points are at. These are the incentive trip prizes. Just as a reminder, just to go on the trip, you need 375 points minimum. And I updated the points on the site this morning. So these are the most current points. We had some to fix some issues with rank points and re-rank points. So some points might have been adjusted slightly, but this is where you're at currently. I know this site where your dashboard is slightly delayed, so I apologize for that. But these are the most current ranked points. We got current points. We got the commissions for December entered in, so those are all entered and everything's good there. So check where your points are at. I've included the people that are in striking distance so that they can kind of see where their points are at on this list and give themselves a little push and push that extra spot. And I would love to see everyone on this list make it to the incentive trip and be qualified. Next, I will be talking about Diamond Club. Silver Club may have just ended, but Diamond Club is just around the corner. So I just wanted to give everyone kind of a heads up of what to expect. It doesn't start until March, so you have some time to still qualify, still apply, and prepare. So the qualifications to participate, we raised them up. Last year we did elites and higher. This year we wanted to make it a little more difficult and more challenging, just so we can really hone in on the people that are really wanting to do Diamond Club and have their team help them out. So to participate in Diamond Club, you need to be Premier rank or higher. And if you're a Premier, you need to at least have 5 enrollments from February of last year until February of this year. So make sure that you are checking see if you have the enrollments met. For silver rank through platinum, we're requiring 2 enrollments. And then those who have hit diamond that have not hit diamond since 2024 can also apply. Applications will be open in a couple weeks. So just be prepared for that. You can go to the site to look up any information about Diamond Club. It's mostly updated with all this information. So if you are wanting to do Diamond Club, put it in the chat that you are going to meet the requirements and qualifications to participate, because we'd love to see all of your faces participate. But that's all for what I have. I will turn the time over to Nala.
Thank you so much, Ryan. And the new Diamond Club just makes me bubble up inside. I am super excited. I really cannot wait. The team has really put together something amazing for the new Diamond Club. So we definitely do encourage you to be part of it. And we are also very excited because the leadership retreat is here and we are a few days away. We will be meeting from the 5th to the 7th of February 2026 at Asara Wine Estate and Hotels in Stellenbosch, a beautiful, serene place where we'll all gather as leaders and really just empower one another and learn from the best of the best. And so in the next slide, you still can purchase your tickets, and all you do is just scan that QR code. You can also go to the website and search Leadership Retreat. You'll get our Leadership Retreat page that gives you all the information that you need for you to join us and just really be part of this 3-day transformative experience to build your business and to be intentional about winning in 2026. And so in the next slide, you'll see in order for you to qualify, you need to be elite and above between the last year and this year, February, and you have to have enrolled at least 3 people personally, as well as premiers and above. And so I'm pretty sure that you are able to run for this and achieve it by the end of this month. And when you do, you are eligible to attend this incredible 3-day retreat. And what's really amazing about the retreat is also just the helping hand that we will be extending with our outreach. So our Healing Hands outreach is taking place. And in the next slide, you'll see we've partnered up with an amazing organization called Community Cohesion. And they are people that help, they are caregivers that help victims. So they are first responders to victims in all kinds of communities. And so we'll be going out to this Healing Hands outreach and really teaching them the essence of pure essential oils. So they're a group of people that already use essential oils in helping people cope with all of the stresses and, the victims that they deal with on a daily basis. And it will be such an honor and a privilege for us to share the purity of our certified pure attested grade essential oils. And so we cannot wait to have you at Leadership Retreat. If you're still on the fence about it, let that be no more. Open that gate, come through. We cannot wait to see you. We've got an incredible lineup for you. And in the next slide, Matt Hall, one of our speakers, is, a triple diamond, and he really does just bring fire when it comes to teaching about the business. He's built a global business, one of the most prolific doTERRA builders, and we want to see you there, so we cannot wait to see you. Thank you very much. I'll hand it over to Kendall.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Life Blizz, Mary Encha. We are so excited for you. I know we didn't have your name up on the slide, just your business name, but we want to know personally who you are. And so Marentia Van Kosterup. So congratulations, everybody. Give her a round of applause. One of our top enrollers. We appreciate all the hard work. I get excited to hear about all the recognition, the rank advancements, top enrollers. We love highlighting you and your efforts. And I know there are many more behind the scenes doing things as well. And we'd love to hear about it. If you have a downline that's doing some exceptional things, or team members, or if you feel like you've made some goals, we'd love to hear about that, because we want an opportunity to maybe highlight you on one of our calls. So thank you for all that you do. We're glad we're back in the swing of things. Many of us are excited about Leadership Retreat, and especially the Healing Hands project. That's one of my favorite things about these events that we get to do. Even Incentive Trips has a Healing Hands part of that event, all rolled into it. doTERRA corporate offices, our owners have made sure that that is always highlighted and a focus of as part of what we do, a big part of what we do here at doTERRA. So thank you all. Okay, Lil, let's get started right into what I want to talk about. I'm Kendall St. John. I didn't introduce myself earlier. Many of you know me. Some of you are new. So welcome. I'm one of the account managers here. I've been with doTERRA for about 12 years, been in a couple different markets, and really love being able to be part of this community in many different roles that I've had here at doTERRA. And one of the things I get to talk about today is goals. Of course, it's 2026. Many of us set New Year's resolutions, and I want you guys to put in the chat. Go ahead and Ryan, advance that slide for me. I want you guys to put in the chat how many of you have already set New Year's resolutions this year. You can just raise your hand in the chat. You can say, you can give us your goal, what you wanted to do. Just want to see that, okay, how many of us are really doing that? Myself, I haven't really taken the time to set resolutions. Mine has been kind of geared more things adding into my life, things that I decide that I want to add. Not so much I'm resolving to change something, but I'm resolving to expand myself and in my life. So let's talk about goals. Typically, by end of January, a good percentage of people have already quit their New Year's resolutions. They've gotten too hard for them. Maybe they weren't really what they wanted to do. Maybe it was something that somebody else was doing, and I was afraid of missing out, and I want to be part of that too. It sounds exciting, but it's not really what I do. So is setting goals enough? And I want to talk about why just putting down a goal is not enough. Next slide. So I want to talk a little quickly about why people give up, why by, end of January, mid-February, people have given up on their goals. Many of you go to the gym, you see the gym is packed in January, and by the end, it starts trickling down less and less numbers. So some of the reasons why people do fail to reach their goals is poor goal setting. First of all, their goals are too vague. They don't write them down, which I think most of us know that is key. And when we don't do that, we don't have a visual of it to see every day and remind ourselves of something that we really want. We have a lack of deadlines, and maybe our goals aren't really realistic, or they are someone else's goals that we think sounds good, and why don't we do them as well? Some focus too much on the outcome of the goal itself. And, you can't achieve a big goal with the same habits. You've got to become a stronger version of yourself. You've got to adapt some new behaviors in your life. Lack of planning, no concrete systems created for executing consistent, trackable behaviors. We know that that is key to being able to run a doTERRA business, to grow a doTERRA business, is to have systems in place that you consistently do and consistently track so we can pivot where we need to and make changes. And then also, many people don't plan for setbacks. They don't identify and prepare for some challenges that could get in the way of achieving their goals. They don't really assess themselves and take sort of an inventory of maybe what has been some pitfalls in the past for me. And if that comes up, which it most likely will, how am I going to plan for moving past that challenge? And also motivation. Motivation does decline over time as you go because the enthusiasm is kind of, waned quickly. And that has a lot to do with your why, not being strong enough, why you want the reason. I talked earlier about maybe it's somebody else has decided they want to do it and you're just jumping on the bandwagon. And we all know that we talk a lot about this in doTERRA, that our why has to be really strong and it does change and evolve. So if something doesn't have a lot of value to us personally, if that goal, achieving that goal, isn't really valuable to us, we're likely going to quit that goal or quit the efforts to achieve that goal. Next slide. So I love this quote, and I can't even remember where I saw it on the internet, but it's, "You do not rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of standards that you tolerate daily." Let me read that again. You do not rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of standards you tolerate daily. So if you want better results, you've got to focus on your behaviors, right? We set the goals, but that's not enough. We decide what we want, but we have to actually make some changes in our behaviors to be able to accomplish that. Everybody hearing me okay? Okay, great. All right, next slide. So one of the things that, part of setting goals is that there's a lot of power in setting certain standards and changing certain behaviors, making behaviors as just something that you do. We talk about income producing activities as part of building your business, but really they're a behavior. And behaviors are what are key for us to be able to succeed and to do the things that we know in duplicatable systems that are going to help us reach milestones and help us reach goals. And standards are basically a non-negotiable. And I love this word. They're non-negotiable. It's like I won't take anything less. They're decisions about who you are and what you accept. So, like, for example, I eat healthy. I work out 4 times a week. I map and plan my meals quickly. That is a standard, right? That you've already decided that eating healthy, that's what I do. And anything below that is just, I'm not going to lower my standard. And behaviors build a path. Behaviors, or if you want to talk about them as habits, they are the repeatable process that make progress happen, while goals are just the direction. So goals just point in the direction where we want to go. They're the vision. But to get there, you've got to have these standards and behaviors in place. And identity drives behavior. And I agree with this, is when your identity shifts into I am a healthy person, that's who I am, your behavior will align with that and results become consistent without like a constant force. It's like when I make that statement about who I am, my behaviors are sort of a natural process. They don't feel forced, they don't feel like I'm really resisting against that. And I think that's key, is like knowing, who do I want to be? How do I want to show up? Next slide. So how do we implement that? How do we decide about, what we're going to tolerate in our daily lives? What actions and what environment am I going to tolerate? Am I going to be around people that just bring me down? Am I going to spend a lot of my time listening to somebody complain? Which I know many of you do as business builders. You have people on your team that just feel very negative about things and they complain and they can't really catch a vision. So it's really time consuming and energy sucking. And so we have to decide, Am I going to listen to somebody for 30 minutes go on that doesn't really want a solution? Am I going to be around people in my workplace or in my life that, do complain, that don't bring a lot of positivity? Somebody that wants to poo-poo on my goals, right? You don't want to surround yourself with those people. You want to decide what it is. Who am I? What am I going to tolerate in my daily life? And what am I going to tolerate from myself as far as my actions and my environment when it comes to building my business? You need to focus on tiny, consistent improvements rather than huge leaps. If your goal is to hit Premier, right? You have to what? Get a couple of different builders, right? So if you're an elite and your next step is wanting to hit Premier, what's your first little step? I've got to find somebody that I can build with. My first leader, my first leg, right? So you've got to put systems into place that have these tiny, consistent improvements. And consistency is the key word here. So embrace values. Define how you want to behave right now. What kind of things that you want to do? How do you want to be seen? How do you want to show up and serve? So if somebody was to talk about you as far as how you are as a business owner, what does that look like? How do you show up and serve them? And it's deciding like, my behaviors, like who do I want to be? I want to be such and such. Well, what do my behaviors? How do I have to act? How do I have to show up to be that person? Next slide. So we all know about this, right? The pipes, that's nothing new. The pipes are a proven success system as far as in growing your business. And we teach this from the very beginning because we know it's duplicatable and we know that it is successful. So we've got to prepare, right? We got to know our products, prepare our names list, those people that we have to sit down and invite. We invite people to sample, to a class. We present the doTERRA wellness message and financial opportunity when you're teaching a class, whether it's one-on-one, online, in-person classes, and then we enroll new customers and builders, right? So one of the things that I think is important when we do classes is that we always consistently talk about the financial opportunity. You don't want to leave people, hanging or not knowing that this was a possibility. And you can just really talk about it very briefly at the end of your class, or talk about it at the beginning of the class and tell them what you're going to do. We'll talk about this at the end if anybody's interested. And then support your team. I think that this is where a lot of people might get held up from advancing and moving forward is their support looks like enabling, right? We want to be there for our customers. We want to plug them into groups. We want to, encourage and motivate and teach them about products, but we also don't want to do things for them. We want to make sure that we're teaching these things, right? We're empowering them. And that is really a good leader. A good leader empowers your people to do things for themselves because it becomes more valuable for them as well. When I've had to take the time and learn something and research something on my own, and I've fixed a problem myself, it just becomes more valuable to me. I feel more valuable. I feel more confident, and that goes a long way. So knowing these activities, the things that we have to do, let's look at what would some of the behaviors that are aligned with these pipes that I would have to do to be able to reach some of my goals. Next slide, Ryan. So if my outcome goal is that I enroll 3 people a month, and these are just examples, very, loose examples, but just to show you of some of the things that my behaviors have to change. If I want to enroll 3 people, well, I got to start talking to new people, and those have to be daily. So we want to do this consistently, right? So we block out time. We decide that I'm not going to tolerate myself falling on default, or when something gets hard, I just start scrolling. I don't make my names list. I don't do these conversations. I have 5 to 10 new conversations daily. I invite 3 to 5 people daily, either invite to sample or invite to a class. I do 5 to 10 follow-ups daily. And these all don't have to be that long. Sometimes it seems overwhelming, and you can start 1 to 2 new conversations daily. Start small, become confident in that, and then increase your efforts. Teach 1 to 3 classes per week, whether that's online, one-on-one, in an actual class setting. so those are some of the behaviors that are non-negotiable that I have to do if I want to enroll people. I've got to talk to people, right? I've got to sample them. I've got to do a class. I've got to do a wellness consult, or I've got to do follow-ups. So those are some of the behaviors that are just non-negotiable that you have to start incorporating into um, your daily routine. And it has to be daily. I think that maybe you work full time and you only have an hour a day. You have to block that time and do these actual behaviors to be able to accomplish that. So say you have a goal of earning your first level Power of Three bonus this month. Well, we know that what that takes, right? We've got to have a little pod here. We've got to have our own LRP order. We've got to be able to have other people on LRP continuing to be new engagements. So we've got to get people on LRP. Knowing that, what do I have to do? I've got to make sure I'm having wellness consults, right? I'm following up with those people, my new enrollments, because wellness consults is an opportunity for you to really talk to people about their routine and their goals and helping them to design a program for them. And then teaching, three people, reaching down in your team that are already existing and talk to them about the value of LRP and doing that daily. That's just non-negotiable. So, okay, your next goal, you want to attract 1 to 2 builders per month, right? You're in elite. Now you want to attract some new builders. Well, one place that you can start is going to network marketing meetings, going to speaker meetings where, you learn to be I think Toastmasters, but connecting with other people, doesn't have to be in the same exact type of business that you're in, but it does help. And also you can get referrals from people. Who do you know that might be interested in, having a healthier lifestyle? Talk to 2 or 3 of your shares, people that do share that say, I'm not ready to do the business, but my friend is interested in, so they share that with them. And, then you follow up, but ask them, talk to them about, hey, you guys are sending me all these referrals. Do you know that you can get paid? So always revisiting that and knowing where your people are, that comes from with those wellness consults is a really good opportunity to get, what to really know people, what are some of their goals so that when you do have this opportunity to talk to sharers, you mentioned to me in your wellness consult that, you wanted to be able to, get rid of your car payment. Well, doTERRA can help you with that. And then you explain those things. So listening to those things, reminding about that, making notes so that when you have those conversations, you're talking to them and they feel valued. They feel like you really listen to them and you care about who they are. And then I share the business opportunity to every class that I host. So these are just some of the behaviors that kind of coincide with some of the goals that you have set up. So the behaviors come first, right? And then the goals, the outcomes follow through. But these are non-negotiables that you have to do. And so you have to time block and you have to decide what it is that you want and know what it is that you're going to do to have to get there. And like I said, just starting small. Maybe it's not 5 to 10 conversations daily. Maybe you are so tight-throated, the thought of talking to somebody, even opening my mouth, I don't even know how to do that. So even just one new conversation daily, and it doesn't have to be perfect. People get caught up in having to know the right thing to say. Just open your mouth and be curious about people, asking the questions. Just start a conversation and be a really good listener and listen to how maybe you can serve them, not just giving them a solution. You need to have them talk about it in a way that they decide that, I need you. I need that solution. Okay, let's go to the next slide. So I want to talk a little bit about those activities and why they may seem easy on a little, spreadsheet there that I do this, I have conversations, do follow-ups, I do wellness consults, that all sound great, but many of you and all of us have areas that we are not confident in, like having new conversations, we're not confident in closing, we're not confident about following up or even having a wellness consult because maybe we don't know enough yet and feel confident to where we can really talk uh, to where we seem like we know what we're talking about to people with their wellness consults. Like I know enough about the product, which that can really paralyze us as well, right? We don't feel like we know everything. So how can I teach anybody? So I want you to ask yourself a few of these questions, because in order to reach those goals, you have to have a plan to succeed, and also, know where what are your defaults? Where could your setbacks be, right? So what could keep you from achieving your goals? Knowing that also helps you set up to, like, well, I have trouble about having conversations. So what am I going to do? How am I going to start? Well, partner with your upline, partner with your team that maybe has a better skill at that. Listen to some YouTube videos, or, some podcasts about um, how to open up and have conversations with people. What behaviors do you feel challenged by? Identify those things. Identify, is it teaching class? Is it closing? Or do you just avoid them altogether? Some of them that are really hard for you, so you just, feel stumbled by them, or you just don't do them at all. It's good to know these things so that you can plan for them, because if you put these systems into place and say, I'm going to teach, I'm going to have these conversations, if you don't feel confident about it, you're going to avoid it altogether, right? So you need to have a plan so that when those challenges come about, that you don't just default when things get really hard. And what steps can I do to overcome these challenges? So I took the time, and I want to share with you from some of our leaders. I had conversations with some of them about the things that they have had challenges with early on in their journey, and what those challenges were, and how did they overcome them. And I actually want to read some of them to you, because I don't want to just paraphrase over it, because I want you to feel their heart. I want you to feel the full um, emotions of what it was like for them, because many of us, we can just hear information, but it just doesn't really resonate. When we can hear the struggles, we can hear the challenges that other people have had and know what they did. Maybe that's a good idea, or it triggers an idea of what you can do to overcome them. So one of the challenges that one of these leaders talked to me about is being consistent with their intentional outreach, right? Which is basically having new conversations daily. Specifically initiating conversations without waiting for the perfect moment or the perfect person. Early on, I framed outreach as something I had to push through, which created unnecessary resistance, right? How many of you been there? It's like, oh, I know. It's like, I'll find something else to do, but the thing that I don't really want to do, right? Um, the breakthrough came when I stopped focusing on the outcome, which is so key, right? It's not like just focusing so much on my goal. It's calling people, is that, whether those things would get me an enrollment or rank advance or volume. Instead, I shifted my focus to the behavior I could control daily. I love this. This is so key. And the key changes that were made, where she reframed these conversations, these intentional outreaches, as service and not selling. I love this. So selling would be like, I've got to get an enrollment. Once they anchored the mindset in helping people solve problems rather than building a business, the fear dissolved. Conversations became natural, value-driven, and authentic. She replaced intensity with consistency. So you know how we just go hard and fast sometimes and we burn ourselves out, rather than just doing the small steps consistently over time, rather than burning yourself out and deciding, oh my gosh, that was a crash and burn. I'm never going to do that again. Instead of sporadic bursts of activity, I committed to small, non-negotiable. There's that word again. And a lot of these leaders use this word. I think that is so key, is that's part of setting up your standards of, this is non-negotiable. I have to do this. My standard is I am whatever it follows, or whatever you will tolerate. Meaningful connections every day, even if it was just one intentional conversation. I built structure to support the behavior, blocked time, created simple scripts, and tracked activities, not results. This removed decision fatigue and emotional attachment. This is amazing. Okay. I love this because she decided, she made the time, she created simple scripts, right? She prepared herself rather than just, going out and trying to, oh, hey, and then stumbling over my words. I have a script. I know my plan when I do have a new conversation. So you're planning to succeed. stopped waiting for confidence and started building the confidence. I love that, right? Many of us don't have a lot of confidence. We rely on that, and instead of working through building competency through our consistency. Confidence followed repetition. The more she showed up, the easier it became. All right, I'm going to read this next one here. Most challenging business, again, is consistently speaking to new people. I think that's a big challenge for a lot of people because they don't even know how to start the conversation. And it's easy to stay in the comfort zone of just doing busy things with the team, looking at my back office, doing a training, or listening to videos that, learn more about the product instead of doing those hard things. That's the default, right? It's like it's hard, so well, I'll go and watch this video. I'm learning about the product. I'm actually doing the business. And the mindset for this person came when or what she overcame was a mindset and behavior shift, right? So we have to change our mind about the things that we're doing. And they said I had to truly start treating my business like a business, not a hobby. And when I decided that, things changed for them. So help them to show up intentionally every day. So getting serious about your business and saying this is what I'm doing, that's all part of the plan. That's the identity, right? I am a successful doTERRA business owner. What this looked like was setting clear, not daily, non-negotiable. Love that word. These leaders know this word, especially around connections, speaking to new people, following up, inviting and having conversations, even when it felt uncomfortable. Starting a simple daily to-do list and time blocking. There was those things again. These are key, you guys, as far as setting up those behaviors. You have to be very intentional and plan to succeed. One of the biggest changes was not to wait till they felt ready, right? Just go. I have this sign at my house that says "Go ugly early," and it actually came off of a naval ship that I went and did like a I don't know, a tour through, and it was in the pilot's little area when they were preparing to fly. It said "Go ugly early." It's right. It's better, things are done, if you just go and do it rather than getting trapped and paralyzed by perfection. It chose consistency over comfort and action over perfection. And showing up daily for myself and for other people made all the difference. So one of the other challenges is following up after conversations. How many of you have had these amazing conversations and you say you're going to do something afterwards, like send them an enrollment link or send them a video to watch or send them a sample, and you put it off, you get busy doing something else? This person said that what's really helped them shift was to use Mel Robbins' 5-4-3-2-1 rule. And I actually really like this because I'm going to start doing that. I'm a procrastinator too, and I love this. So whenever something feels hard or you're, having a hard time instantly reacting or doing something, it's to count down from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then just physically move to take that action. So it interrupts the negative thought patterns that start and activates the prefrontal cortex. So as soon as you have a negative thought, right, one repeats after another. So this little counting down will interrupt those negative thoughts. And so they stayed up, picked up their phone, their laptop, whatever it is, sent the link or sent out the sample, packaged it up, whatever it is, that 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 rule has really made all the difference for them procrastinating. And here's another one that I think a lot of people struggle with is getting people on LRP, right? So that goes back to, I want to hit my power of 3. Well, you've got to do those things, talk about the LRP, get people engaged on that, help them to see the value of the LRP. So one of the challenging things was helping people see the long-term value of LRP and the way that I did. In the beginning, I spent a lot of time explaining and trying to convince, and I learned the hard way that you can't want it more for anyone than they want it for themselves. This is so true. All you can do is bring them to the water, whether they drink or not, right? So shifting the focus from explaining LRP to having real wellness conversations and consultations. So that goes back to the wellness consult and making sure that I know a lot of people have expressed to me that they've really had a hard time following up on doing wellness consults. Time gets in the way, they forget about it, but it's so crucial for long-term, commitment with long-term relationship with those new customers. Shifting a focus from explaining that and listening first, understanding their real needs, and positioning an LRP as a support system, not a program. I love that. Also focus more on leading by example and sharing how I personally use LRP in my life and my family. And that's just brought peace, more of a less resistance to, like, this is a natural flow thing. When I help people see the value of the LRP program, then things naturally grow. People, want solutions. They want to improve. So the next one is, let's see, we're doing okay on time. I hope you guys are enjoying some of this, but I feel like it's really important. These are some of the, like I said, these are some of the leaders that have been with doTERRA for quite a while now, and we're learning from them. So I hope you're taking notes of things that, you can do to plan to succeed. Where's your blind spots? Know what my plan is going to be. If things get in the way, if I start to, avoid things, these are some things that you can actually do to overcome those challenges. So duplication, teaching your team duplications. I know many of you, have a challenge with that. One, maybe you don't fully know all the duplicatable systems. Maybe you don't feel confident enough about teaching that. And maybe you're enrolling like crazy and you feel like you just don't have the time to start, teaching people to do things for themselves. And in the early stages, people are excited about the oils. They don't really have the belief that you do. So it's easy to do things for them. And then you start resenting that, you start carrying the load, and it just feels really heavy. And people don't become engaged. They don't feel value. They don't build a belief themselves. And it's more hype and they get excited. And we all know that kind of dies down. So people start out with big dreams, they're excited about using the oils. You've shared the business with them. They've got, really big dreams, but they struggle to really know how. So by putting duplicatable, teaching them duplicatable systems, it relieves you from having to go into manager mode, that you can continue and go out and share more and enroll more people and do those things that you want your team to keep doing. Because the minute you stop enrolling, they're not going to enroll. So enabling people is really a big downfall, and I know it's not easy to always do, because we just get caught up in doing things for people because it's easier than taking the time to teach them. So by overcoming this challenge, they made deliberate shift from doing the business for her team to developing leaders within her team. I focused on simplifying systems, repeating core activities, and teaching people how to win in a small, achievable steps instead of overwhelming new builders. Like, oh, this is great. You can hit, elite, you can hit premier right away. It's just like, you want to get your oils paid for, right? You want to earn a little bit more money each month. Just showing people that small vision and then building on that, because otherwise it overwhelms them. They made by prioritizing education, mindset, and community within her team. She invested time in training, wellness education, personal development, and creating safe spaces where team members could ask questions. I like that, creating safe spaces. Making people feel that their questions aren't dumb. That nothing, no question. A dumb question is one that's not asked, right? So, and as a result of putting more of these systems in place, her team became more empowered, duplication improved, and leadership began to emerge organically. The shift not only increased growth and stability in my organization, but also deepened trust, retention, and long-term success. I love this. And so one of the other ones is, just being able to change habits, like, staying inside my comfort zone. It's easy for me to default, right? But identifying, being able to recognize that your habits actually change, or habit changes actually come out of knowing your identity, what it is that you want. So that is the number one thing, is like deciding it is what you want, who you want to be, what you're willing to tolerate. And then from there, that's where your behaviors, if you're not going to tolerate, having to spend 30 minutes a day with the same person, then you have to time block and say, this is what I have available. I have 5 minutes. And also in that conversation, it's hard to have conversations with people that don't want a solution. Just asking them questions like, if this scenario would be fixed, what would that look like? Paint a picture for me, because that helps them really realize, okay, maybe I don't know what I want. I just want to complain, right? So you have to be able to kind of work backwards from like just, oh, okay, these are the things I'm going to do every day. It's like, know what you want, know who you are, know what you're willing to tolerate, and then setting those behaviors that are non-negotiable in where you want to go. And just, do hard things. Have somebody push you off that cliff, push yourself off that cliff. Just do it. Go out there. And most of the time you find out that, oh, okay, well, that wasn't really scary, but prepare yourself to have those conversations. If you just feel scared, learn some skills. Like, what's a good opener to introduce myself to somebody? How would I want somebody to come up to me and talk to me? Knowing those things, then you have a plan so that you're not just getting on the phone, starting to call somebody and feel tongue-tied. Um, so pushing yourself outside of your comfort zone and choosing somebody that's you can be accountable to, right? Earlier I said, part of the reasons is that your goals aren't written down. Well, I want to add that your goals aren't shared outside of yourself. They're written down, but they're not verbally shared to somebody because once you speak, it's like, okay, there's my accountability. And find that one or two people on your team that you're going to partner with, that you're going to help each other reach your goals. And I just feel like if you can do those simple steps, everything is, all those challenges can be met. Just simplify everything, know who you are, know where you falter, already have a plan in place to be successful. So to be successful, you've got to plan, right? So I want really quickly, I want you guys to put in the chat. We've just got a couple of minutes. I want you to put in the chat of things that you want to achieve this year is like, what do you want? Not just your goal of hitting a rank or, enrollments, but like, what are some of these behaviors that you feel like I want to get better at? And then I want you to look at on your team, and then I want you to partner together. And it doesn't have to be in the chat, but talk to your team about these things. Hey, one of the things that's challenging for me is talking about people to the business, about the business or closing the deal. I can tell everybody about all the information, but when it comes to asking for the business, I really struggle. And work together within your teams, partner with each other, partner, with your husband and your spouse that, help me keep accountable, help me see where my blind spots are and help me to plan to not go to default and avoid those things so that I can do these non-negotiable things. That is all I have for you guys today. So I hope that's helpful. I hope that maybe that shows you a little bit of difference to restructure setting your goals, how you're going to go about that so that you can be more successful and that you're not finding yourself giving up, halfway through the month. We're actually past halfway through the month, but within 1 or 2 months, things aren't happening. Constantly go back and check what's working, what's not working, and then just keep doing the things that are working. So work, backwards so that you can adjust and be loose with the things that you're doing. Like don't be so rigid. Yes, be non-negotiable that this is the amount of time I'm going to spend on cold calling. This is the amount of time I'm going to spend on inviting people. Make sure that's non-negotiable. Because what that teaches you, it's you're training yourself to show up for yourself. You're teaching yourself that you don't give in, that you push through hard things, that you stick to a plan, and that just sets up even better leadership skills as you grow and learn through those things, and you develop that confidence. You can, do more and more of that. Like you can start expanding, and I think once you put these behaviors into place, things can just grow a lot quicker than if you just give up on yourself, you don't plan to succeed. It just makes it a lot harder and a lot challenging. A lot of people give up and say, hey, it doesn't work. But we know we have a lot of leaders in our market that it works for. And you can see from what I read to you, this is what they do. Non-negotiable was a repeating word throughout some of these challenges that they listed. And the fact that they're able to go back and look at what the problems were and that they decided to make some change. A lot of it was mindset. A lot of it was changing how I think about this activity. Like it's more about showing up and serving rather than just getting an enrollment. So I invite you to do those things, partner with somebody, um, do a little masterminding with yourself. One of the leaders said, I mastermind with Chat GPT. I tell them like in small steps what I want to do, and I just talk back and forth through things. And so there's tools out there with that you can use to be able to do that. But but work within your teams. I love this. So that's all I have for you guys today. I don't think we have anything else, so I'm going to go ahead and close up the call. And I thank you for joining us this evening. We will see you again next month. I don't have a schedule for the whole year yet, but I will be posting that soon to our leaders so that they can share that with you and have the calendar so you guys can make sure you block out the Tuesdays that each month that our calls will be. Thank you.